Miss Brand from the Smithtown Library, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make your very own 3D paper rose greeting card. You should have picked up your kit for this program from the Smithtown building. In your kit, you're going to find the following supplies. You'll have 2 pieces of white cardstock, you'll have a couple of sheets of colored construction paper, and you'll have 2 different pieces of brown scrapbooking paper. In addition to these supplies, you will need a couple of things from home. You're going to need a pair of scissors, you'll need some sort of black marker, and you'll need glue. I have both a glue stick and white school glue here. If you only have one of these, we can definitely make it work. Let's get started. So the first thing you're going to do is take your piece of cardstock, your white cardstock, and you're going to fold it in half to make your card and give it a nice crease. Then we're going to need to create the basket for our flowers. So I'm going to use my sort of darker brown cardstock, and I'm going to cut out a trapezoid. You could sketch this out ahead of time if you wanted to kind of measure with your card. You want to make sure that it's taking up probably about half of the front of your card because you want to leave room for the flowers. So there's my trapezoid, and I'm going to glue that onto the front of my card. I'm going to use a glue stick for this. I find it's a little less messy. Okay, so now that I have that glued, I want to create sort of a basket weave, and I'm going to do that using my other piece of brown paper. So I want to cut this into thin strips, probably about 1/4 of an inch wide. So they don't have to be perfectly straight, you can kind of eyeball it. I'm just going to cut a couple of these strips. You can probably cut like 2 or 3 to start, and then cut more if you need. Okay, so now that I have a couple of strips, I'm going to measure them, the length of my basket, and I'm just going to trim them. And I'm going to first create a couple of strips that go vertical on my basket. And you can do as many of these as you'd like. They don't have to be, I'm going to do 3, I think, but you could do more if you'd like. But I'm going to layer those down. Use my glue stick again. Just evenly attach them. Okay, so once I have my vertical strips glued down, I want to go horizontal to create that basket weave effect. So I'm going to take my longer strips, and again, I'm going to kind of cut them according to size. Now that my trapezoid is going to be wider at the top and shorter at the bottom, so I'm going to have to create a couple different lengths. I also like to angle the edges of my horizontal strips so that they match up nicely with the angle of the side of the basket. So just like trimming the corners at a 45-degree angle. And I'll probably do like 3 or 4 of these. And now that I've cut my horizontal strips, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use my glue stick and attach them to my basket. Okay, and there's your finished basket. Next we'll move on to the flowers. So our next step is we're going to make our 3D paper roses. So this is an example of one that I've already made. The first step to make a 3D paper rose is to grab one of your pieces of colored construction paper, and we're going to cut out a circle. My suggestion would be to use a coffee mug or a cup at home as a template to trace for your circle. I'm just going to freehand mine. They don't have to be perfectly round, but the different size circles that you have will give you different sizes of flowers. So there's my circle, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a spiral into my circle. So I'm going to start at the edge, and I'm just going to spiral around. This also doesn't have to be perfectly even until I get to the middle. So you want your spiral to look exactly like this. Then you're going to start from the outside edge of your spiral, and you're going to begin to roll it to create that rose effect. The layers of your spiral will create the layers of petals in your rose. So I'm just rolling up my spiral. You want to roll it as tight as you can. It's not going to look like a rose while you're rolling it, but when you get to the end of your spiral, you can sort of fluff it out a little bit to get more dimension in your rose. So once you get to the sort of inner circle of your spiral, you're not going to roll that part. That's actually going to be the base of your rose. You're going to use that to glue the rest of your rose onto. So you can see I've got my spiral. It's maybe a little tight, so I'm going to just let it go a little bit, and now it's a little loosened. So I want to use a bit of glue to make sure I keep that spiral design. This is where the white school glue is the most helpful. And you're going to dab a little bit of glue to the inside of your spiral and a little bit on the base to make sure that all those layers stick together. You're going to have to hold this for a couple of seconds so it gets a good stick to your base. And then you're going to repeat the same process for the rest of your flowers. So once you're done creating all of your paper roses, you're going to attach them to your card using a little bit of glue on the base of the rose. You can arrange your flowers in your basket however you'd like. I'd suggest using a variety of colors and maybe making roses in different shapes and sizes to create some nice texture for your card. If you wish, you can add a little tag wishing someone a happy Mother's Day. We have some extra brown paper for that, and you can use your black Sharpie. However, I think this would be a great card to wish anyone a very happy spring. Thank you so much for joining me today. We hope to see you soon, but until then, visit the library's webpage at www.smithlib.org for more programs and resources.